St. Louis City Boys, what it do? From the arch to the booth, we talk about you. City Boys in the loop.
Shout out to the St. Louis City Boys podcast.
They're in your head just like Roman Berkey. This is a City Boys podcast.
City leads you into the City Boys podcast right now.
Kings, queens, and in-betweens, welcome back to the City Boys podcast. On this episode, we are going to be going over St. Louis City's 2-0 loss to San Diego FC, recapping the match, giving you our 3 points, getting into Kit Clash, and then telling you about next weekend's opponent, the Seattle Sounders. But before we get into everything, allow me to introduce two of my best friends and co-hosts. Jacob, how are you doing tonight, good sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Got back last night from a vacation down to Memphis, Tennessee. It was a great time. Shout out to anybody who ever's been to Silky O'Sullivan's. It has definitely taken a top spot as my favorite bar in the world.
Wow.
Dueling pianist, live music all night, pretty badass. Lied to the pianist and said that it was mine and Caroline's anniversary in order for us to get a dance in front of the entire bar. So that was pretty sick. Yeah, weekend was fire minus the loss last night, and I got to take a nap this afternoon, so I'm feeling a little bit more rejuvenated after a very full weekend and really ready to get into this episode. But Grayson was home all weekend, brother. How are you doing?
Good. Since Jacob was on vacation, I got to hang out with Bandit as usual. And I think, you guys got to see Bandit a bit more in that last interview we just dropped today. Yeah, we're filming on Monday, so I guess that works out. But I do want to show you guys real quick what I was doing this weekend.
What does he have for us, Jacob?
I don't know.
He's getting up to
Is this
show
the
us
second
something.
episode in a row?
Oh!
I was thrifting some crispy soccer kits. Got this Mario Mandzukic Atletico Madrid kit. So tough. What else did I get? I got a World Cup jacket. Whatever.
Fire pullover.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So I had a good time. There's so many amazing kits at this Totally Rad thrift event, is what it's called. Totally Rad. That's not just me saying that. But it was totally rad. It was down at the America Center, which is right next to the old Edward Jones Dome. I actually thought it was in the Dome, which would have been cool, because that's also where I saw Ronaldo score a header against Inter Milan, which is crazy lore.
That is cool lore.
Yeah. But I had a good weekend. It was a good time. Took a lot of photos. Got some disposable cameras to take some cool pics with, and just hung out, enjoyed my weekend, and then had a terrible day of soccer watching on Sunday with Chelsea getting smacked around by Arsenal. Man United actually winning a game. That sucked. And then capping it all off with a pretty rough St. Louis City game that we're about to dive into. Anyone got anything else to say, or should I just pop into these lineups here?
Well, we never ask how Ethan's doing.
And
whatever.
I've been trying so
Whatever
hard
Ethan
not to
wants
be
to do.
annoying about what I did all weekend to basically everyone in my life today. If you've ever gone for a run, I know your first instinct is to tell someone or show someone. So, boys, I went on the longest run of my life, had an 18-mile run this weekend. I was smashed after that, destroyed, and now I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to crush that marathon. But I can't lie, parlaying that into watching St. Louis City get smacked around this weekend was a brutal way to end the Sunday. So Monday has been, frankly, much better, and I am very excited to dive into this game. Let's get right into it, shall we? Who's
Not
starting
sore.
for St. Louis City this weekend?
Yeah, let's get into it. We threw out a pretty similar starting 11 to the 11 we threw out in Matchday 1 with one major change. So Yohan Damet, or as I should say from San Diego's announcer, Yohan Damet, threw out a 3-4-2-1. Roman Berkey, of course, in net. Definitely was our best player in this match day, in my opinion.
Without question.
Our back three, we have Dante Polvara on the left, Timo Baumgartel in the center, Yaziel Orozco on the right. Same as we saw in match day 1. It was pretty impressive. Our midfield, we have Rafael Santos, left wing back, Chris Durkin and Daniel Edelman in the pivot in the middle, Conrad Valum out on the right. We have Song Bin Jong at the right attacking mid, and Miguel Perez in the starting 11 in that spot that you might have noticed is missing Marcel Hartl for good reason. Congratulations to him. He and his wife are having a baby. Pretty cool. So, good reasons to be missing a game, but darn, we miss you, buddy. Simon Betcher up top. We had a whole bunch of substitutes that we're going to talk about in depth a lot later. But I think the most important sub to talk about was also our first one, and that would be Thomas Totland subbing in and then subbing out tragically 25 minutes later, pulling up with looks like a groin injury. It seems to be the same old story. I really hope he's okay. Moving on, McSorley, Celio Pompeu, Cedric Toykert, and Lucas McNaughton would all make an appearance in this match day, and we'll dive more into that later. Boys, what do you think about this starting lineup? Anything you would have done differently, obviously, other than Marcel Hartl?
Jacob, you go.
I think with the players he has available to him, this was probably the best he could come up with, maybe minus Miggy Perez at the center attacking mid spot. I did watch the post-match press conference, and he was asked about it by, I can't remember his name. But why he decided to start Miggy Perez there instead of like a Cedric Toyshirt or, Celio Pompeu, who eventually came on for him. And he said he knew that we were going to be on the road, conceding a lot of possession, and another defensive-minded player in the center of the park made more sense to him in that position. And then as the game got away from us, to start putting more attacking firepower out there. So I can understand the reasoning. However, I think maybe we should have started with a little bit more attacking firepower out there to begin with. What about you, Ethan?
I thought that move specifically demonstrated confidence in Miguel Perez. However, I also think that is kind of where our options are at the moment. Like you said, Cedric Toyshirt is, he's coming back from injury. For real, he was injured for most of last season, so he's working his way back into full fitness. Miguel Perez gets a start, and I thought he looked all right. He looked all right. I would put him at better than average, so all right for me. I also really liked Conrad Valum and Chris Durkin. I think the two of them really quietly had good games. Conrad Valum actually gave us some kind of attacking play in the first half, which we were desperately lacking. And Chris Durkin was just an animal all over the park. He ran his absolute tail off on Sunday night and put in a performance that doesn't necessarily reflect on the stat sheet, but reflects in my heart.
I think, in my opinion, Edelman looked pretty good in that pairing, although I do think that pivot got really close to each other at some points, which really opened up the other side of the pitch for San Diego to expose, and it led to a lot of really good chances on the counter. But in the moments where they were disciplined, that pivot does look pretty good. Even if it's not really our ideal pivot in the midfield for St. Louis City, it's good and serviceable. But yeah, it's just hard to compete with San Diego's midfield, who looked extremely comfortable in possession. Not to mention their defensive press was fantastic. Always on the same page, pressing at the same time, coordinated perfectly. So that was really, really difficult for St. Louis to build through and hold on to the ball at all. Luckily, St. Louis did start to grow a little bit and contain the ball. I think we built up to, 45% 100% possession at the end of the match, which is surprising because
Ooh.
It never
looks,
felt like it, to be
yeah,
fair.
it felt like we were gonna have like 30%.
No,
It's
honestly, for
awful.
a lot of the game, it felt like San Diego had an extra man on the field,
Yeah.
especially in that first half. They were, Grayson, you said their press was fantastic, and it was. They were overwhelming us in our own half. And you could tell that St. Louis City was trying to hold down possession in our back line. I think that Timo, Polvera, and Orozco did an all right job of moving the ball across themselves. But you could tell when we're missing Marcel Hartel and you do Lovin, there's not a pure distributor sitting in front of the center backs that can really connect our defense and attack. And that was very, very noticeable against San Diego.
I do
I
want to
will.
circle back and praise Durkin real quick
Yeah.
because in the second half, I noticed a lot that he was able to turn on the ball. Something I had not seen Durkin like actually do in a long time, but he started gaining confidence to actually peek over his shoulder, make sure there's no one there, and turn into space, and actually deliver some really good through balls, some long balls. So I'm impressed with Durkin's growing confidence in that part of his game. So that excites me a lot.
Yeah, I wanted to say, give Durkin his props as well as I thought some of our best moments came from the route one option of clipping it over the top and having our boys run onto it. With that being said, though, because we didn't have like a Marcel Hartle out there and Sangbin was trying to give either chase or width to the play, we didn't have anybody skillful enough directly underneath that long ball when it would come down to lay it off to and then distribute out wide. So just another point to missing Marcel Hartle being such a large factor in the outcome of this game.
Let's go ahead and dive into this match recap. And we pretty much just got to go straight into the goal.
Yeah.
Jacob, take
In
it away,
the
bud.
third minute of play, we're gonna talk about this for I think a few minutes here. So I'm just gonna recap the goal. Miggy Perez is trying to fight high up to retain possession, kind of clips one of the San Diego players. Ball bounces out to Tverskov, who is able to play it up forward for Valakari, who then we're on a 5-4 break. Valakari's driving, nobody's stepping forward. We're all just dropping backwards. And then as soon as we start to step forward, that left Ingvartsen, their striker, pretty open between Polvara and Timo. Almost offsides, but Conrad Vollum keeps him offsides. He takes a touch, is able to clip it just over Polvara, who's trying to step to Ingvartsen, and then Anders Dreyer inevitably opens his hip, first time touch with the left foot around Roman Burke into the bottom left corner. Already down 1-0, 3 minutes into play.
Talk
Yeah,
about quality on that goal
so
from the
quick.
finish to the lightning quick transition from San Diego FC. As soon as I saw that ball hit the back of the net, for me, it locked in San Diego as title contenders because there is no way you can be that clinical and quick and not compete for a championship in this league. Their transition ability is unbelievable. And when they have a player like Anders Dreyer on the end of attacks like that, it's inevitable that that is going to happen, like you said, Jacob.
Yeah, and this goal is a perfect example of what I was saying at certain points our midfield getting really tight. I believe we had 4 or 5 players all within a 20-yard square trying to win back possession. When we had the ball in the first place, it was I think a simple pass mistake, and we commit numbers to try and win the ball back high in on their side of the field instead of trying to circle back and get back into our shape. And as soon as that ball makes it a couple yards out of space, we get one pass that eliminates 6 St. Louis City players, and yeah, it's a 5v4 at that point. And yes, at that point, San Diego is just so clinical. So it's really disappointing, but it's early mistakes in the game that we get punished for.
And
It was really. Go ahead, Jacob.
Dryer's absolutely rapid because he was there for the I want to say the first outlet pass for San Diego. I think the ball actually clips out to him. He plays into Valakari, and then from his defensive third, sprinting all the way down the sideline up, and then being the one who finally finishes the play off. He's world class. There's a reason he is one of their DPs, and this also speaks to San Diego being one of the best put together rosters, I think, to ever come out of an expansion team off the bat. They won the league, they won the Western Conference last season. They're 2 wins into this season, looking well on their way to going back to the playoffs and then contending for a championship this year. And I think that speaks very highly to the work that the front office of San Diego has done. I know their head coach was getting a lot of praise throughout the match from the commentators. And while, yes, I think his tactics of the, counter press and the ability to actually use and prove that a 4-3-3 in the MLS works, I think it speaks more to how well put together San Diego's been from the very start.
Agreed, Jacob. And it did. I think the most fortunate part about this goal was just how early on it was scored for us. It felt like the game had just gotten started. There was not really a rhythm to the game. And once it hit the back of the net, I thought that St. Louis City would then take that chance to go on the front foot, but it felt like San Diego kept pressing and just could not let it. We did not breathe for like the first 10 minutes. It was a brutal onslaught from San Diego. Truly. Their press was just very good. Moving on into the second goal, it would not come into the second half. So St. Louis City would actually sneak into halftime 1-0 down, which is fairly positive based on how the first half went. San Diego really overwhelmed us, and we end up pretty resiliently holding bend, don't break stuff in the end. In the 54th minute, though, the Apple TV broadcast would cut out, and when it returned, inevitably San Diego FC would be celebrating their second goal of the game. Anders Dreyer would pick it up just inside of St. Louis City's half and dance around Polvara, skip around Chris Durkin, fake out Timo Baumgartel with a fake shot. He would slot in Ingvartsen, and the dirty Danish double would be complete. Jacob, Grayson, you guys were around in my formative years of my defensive philosophy. Would you mind sharing with the people the number one rule of that philosophy?
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if Ethan coined this philosophy, but he
No.
definitely lived up to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's miss ball or man, do not miss both.
That's right. And unfortunately, on this play, the ball and the man were missed, in my eyes, 3 different times. It was a brutal display of defense from St. Louis City. Not our best moments at all. Pretty heart-wrenching stuff to watch, but still speaks to the quality of Anders Dreyer. What a player. Really skillful. And, he looked like a dancing out there for their second goal.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, this
much
one
to say about that one.
like really upset me because of that philosophy. We had 3, I would say honestly 2 opportunities to just foul without cards being given, and then on the third and final one to be able to foul and definitely take a card. In order to stop this goal, I'd much rather see a free kick at the top of the box and give Roman Berkey an opportunity to set up a wall and have, clear line of vision to a shot and save it rather than a one-man show that turns into an easy one-on-one for Ingvartsen to slot this one home. Dante Polvara is definitely big enough to take out Anders Dreyer. Timo's big enough to take out Anders Dreyer. I don't remember the third. Was it Durkin?
It was Chris Durkin.
We've seen Durkin clean out ankles before, so I'm kind of amazed he didn't at least grab the jersey, grab the pants, something. Pull
He
him to
might
the
have been on a
ground.
yellow at that point, but
He
still.
had a yellow at some point in the game, but I don't remember when it took place.
I think he might have been on a yellow. So in that case, I'll let Chris Durkin slide, but still, Polvara had the first opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on a yellow.
Yeah, that one stung.
It did sting a lot. It did. And it would be the final goal of the game. The game finished 2-0. So St. Louis City would be shut out. And not for lack of trying. I do think that in the second half, there were plenty of chances worth talking about. I think that, Cedric Toykert had moments of like honestly pure magic. I saw spurts
Yeah.
of Cedric Toykert that I blew my mind.
Lionel toy shirt out there.
um, yeah. Are we ready to get into our points, boys? Or do we want
Um,
to talk any more? Do we have any more to
is
say about the 90
anybody gonna
minutes?
talk about the Simon Betcher chance in their
Oh,
point?
I wasn't planning on it. I'm hoping to forget that.
It's
And
not my point. It's just
I hope that he
really
forgets that as
unfortunate.
well.
He's about
that
2
was-
yards. The
That was
ball is
crazy.
like 2 yards from the goal line.
Yeah.
And it's just a weak ankle. That's what I'm gonna put it up to. His ankle wasn't locked when the ball hit it. That's my hope, and not that he's that bad.
No, I think he just got it wrong.
Yeah, he needs
I don't
to
think
break
he threw
the
a,
duck, though.
a dead fish at it. I think he just missed.
He needs to see one hit the back of the net and very soon so that his confidence can stay high and he can continue to have that belief in himself.
I will give flowers to Miguel Perez for creating that chance with a really good. He made a run, continued his run past the defense, saw that he was behind the line but not off sides, and made himself a target. Laid off a great pass. So although he may not have been a Marcel Hartle, he did create the best chance of the game. So I will give him that. I'll give him 2 claps.
Fair play, Gray. All right, am I kicking us off for our points?
Yeah, you got it.
All right. So the headline for my points this night is quality adjustments. The match's subs for St. Louis City really changed the tides of this match. In my eyes, the final 30 minutes of the game, St. Louis City had a lot of chances to bring the game level. I think that a lesser quality opponent, we would have easily had 2-3 goals in this game. And for me, the energy increased. Going into halftime, I thought that we really limped into the locker room. We were fortunate to only be 1-0 down going into halftime. And so for Yohan Damet to organize the group, recognize that a player like Rafael Santos had not performed to his best against Anders Dreyer, make a substitution to bring in Thomas Totland and take Conrad Wallem over to the side that Anders Dreyer was on. Granted, we know that Thomas Totland would go out with an injury, but I think that Yohan Damet made another good adjustment by bringing in Lucas McNaughton. This was a game where people thought we might see Mbake fall, but I really appreciate how Yohan Damet has not rushed his entry into the squad. He just got with us this week in training, so I think this was a good chance for him to sit on the sideline with the team and go through a game day routine. So he brings on McNaughton in place for Totland, brings Yazela Roscoe out to the right wingback position, and the team kept functioning like a well-oiled machine, as well-oiled as we could against San Diego, to be fair. But I thought that we looked just fine after the adjustments were made. And Celio Pompeu played a very much center attacking mid role in this game, which I got to be honest, I was skeptical about going into this match. Grayson, you and your mom very knowingly pointed out that you would love to see it, and you guys were right. You guys saw it. You guys foresaw it for sure. I thought that he played really well in that position. His ability to turn on the ball into space and connect passes to the wing specifically looked really good. I think that Celio Pompeu has definitely earned himself more time in the 11, whether that's in a starting role or, again, off the bench as a sub, I think is yet to be seen. But the last quality adjustment that I want to talk about is Cedric Toykert, because he was probably the most quality substitute that came on. Brendan McSorley had himself a good game as well, specifically had himself a fantastic touch to continue on the attack at one point. But Cedric Toykert looked like the player that we signed when we brought him over. This is the Cedric Toykert from 2024 that we had for 8 games. And we were like, we need more of this guy immediately, that we predicted could score 20 goals in a season. And then we just have not seen. Cedric Toykert looks like he has a fire inside of him to get on the ball, really impact the game, and bring St. Louis City to a higher level. So I'm really excited to see what we have to offer at full strength, but I have to give flowers to the substitutes and Yohan Damet for impacting the game in a positive way. And that is my point for this week.
I gotta agree. I'm happy he didn't throw Mbake Fall out there to face Anders Dreyer in his first match day, where he might not be as fit as we need him to be, and just get smashed. So, kudos to him for handling that the way I think it should have been handled, and I'm excited to see Mbake in the future. It's match day 2. It may not be super great, but it's something to look forward to. We still can improve. My point for this week is kind of bouncing right off of Ethan here. It's called Substitute Stars. This week was definitely a tough watch, but I had a very strong knee-jerk reaction that this team sucks. We're not good at all, which is true, but it may not be as bad as that loss felt. But we're definitely expecting some poor play once we saw that Hartle was in the lineup, but this was something else. Our attacking trio of Simon Betcher, Sangbin Jong, and Miggy Perez combined for 67 total touches on the ball. Dreyer alone had 104. And he's not the player with the most touches in the San Diego team by quite some margin.
Was it Tverskov?
It was. He had 144.
Talk about bossing the game.
Yeah. I mean, we were never going to get a lot of time on the ball against San Diego, but I was really disappointed in what we did when we did get on the ball. I saw this exact cycle many times. Control the ball, get pressed, panic under pressure, make a poor pass, turn the ball over, get caught in transition, San Diego chance.
Yeah.
Spot on. That happened probably a dozen times in the first 10 or 15 minutes, man.
Pretty much all throughout the entire game, that would happen, breaking up sparsely by some good play from St. Louis. But the thing that would break the cycle for me finally was those substitutions, specifically Celio and Seti. Now, Celio, Pompeu, and Cedric Toykert don't really have a lot in common, but they do have one thing in common, and that is their ball-carrying ability. They don't always need to pass the ball off so early because they can break the lines themselves, and that brings St. Louis a whole new look to our offense. We aren't always forced to release a dangerous pass when you can protect yourself, move into space, disrupt the other team's coordination in their press, and break out. And that's exactly what we saw with Celio and Toykert. Specifically, Toykert's insane just decision to, instead of passing, just cut inside and see if you can make something dangerous there. And he almost dribbled the ball into the goal.
Forced a goal line save.
Exactly. So, although we did get to see some bright flashes this match, this isn't like, I'm not saying they're going to tear up Seattle next week, but it gives St. Louis some creative variety, a little bit of a creative spark in the offense that we desperately needed without Hartle in the lineup. So, to me, if we do not have Hartle this week, which it's possible, it's possible we might not have him this weekend, but it is a home match, so I guess it's a higher percentage than it was. But if he is not there, then I definitely want to see Cedric Toykert or Celio Pompeu starting the match and giving St. Louis a bit of a chance in the offense here.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think another change I'd like to see is Sangbin up top and Betcher maybe on the bench for second half super sub.
Yeah.
No McSorley start?
Not McSorley start yet. I think Sangbin's faster. Maybe not by much, but he's pretty rapid. And just as much as Betcher needs to see one fall, I think Sangbin needs to see one go. In the first match, he was in a lot of great opportunities for a cutback pass in order to slot it in that he wasn't given a chance to. and I think putting him at the focal point of our attack will open up opportunities for him to bag some goals.
All right. Fair play. I would like to see that. I also think that he offers a different profile than Simon Betcher does on the ball. I think that Simon Betcher is a pretty good stand your defender up and keep possession of the ball, while Sangbin is a much more of a take you on kind of player. And I would love to see our furthest forward player running at players and dribbling them successfully in the game.
All right, well, I'll get into my point then. As a headline, this is clearly still a rebuild. Okay, so like Ethan put, don't hit the panic button just yet, St. Louis City fans. We are 2 league games into our year 4 rebuild. With that being said, though, we are still not a good team without our DP stars on the field. Hartle being at home for the birth of his child and Edu being home with his family really showed us who we are without our DP players. Roman Berkey's insane performance is another reminder why he is our 3rd DP level player. This was very much a game in which 2-0 should and could have been 4-5-0 with a lesser goalkeeper. Also, I didn't hate that we came up against one of the best put together teams and successful philosophies this early on in our rebuild. San Diego, as a litmus test, was able to teach us where our team is at right now. We didn't have good forward progressing possession for a majority of the game. At times, we looked lost in our attacking transitions and stagnant with our runs. We're missing a clinical 9. We didn't have a true cam on the field. Toy Shirt looking much better in his limited minutes this season than he did all of last season, to your point, Ethan. Our back line looks fine without 2 of our starting center backs, and Timo looks to be in the best form he's been in since arriving. However, with our 2 other center backs coming in, I think our back line is going to look that much more aggressive and put together than we've been in the last 2 games. Edelman is proving to be a great signing, and Durkin next to him is fitting this system much better than he has in years past. Our wingbacks looked fine in defense, but fairly lost in the attack. That comes with this just being the 2nd league match under a new philosophy of having wingbacks. But we didn't look terrible, barring the first 10 minutes of the game. And I think this game could have a much different outcome if we have Hartle, Edu, a true 9, both falls on the field, and a little more time developing the Damet way.
Jacob, from maybe our most pessimistic member, that is a very, very grounded take and very, like, maybe cautiously optimistic even.
I just scratched the cautiously optimistic. I don't want anybody to think I thought we looked good yesterday. We looked bad yesterday. I even dapped Grayson up at the end of the game and I said, "Hey, bro, we're still ass. This will be easy."
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It's much easier to talk about St. Louis when we're better.
That's fair and a fact, but it's only game 2, and I know we had a similar thoughts going at the start of last season, and then the season very quickly got away from us. But the fact that it is only match week 2, and we have a good opponent, but not nearly as good as San Diego in Seattle coming up, I'm not too terribly worried about this team with a few adjustments to be made.
Well, let's talk about Kit Clash real quick, and then let's talk about Seattle. So let's ring that bell. Bing, 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 bing,
Ding,
bing,
ding,
bing.
ding.
This week, of course, we face off against San Diego's new home kit. Is this their new home kit? Or is this like a third secondary? Well, I guess it is technically their away kit because it's their light jersey. You know? So that makes sense. This is called the Unprecedented Unity Kit. I thought the design on this kit was like a trippy goal net, like red and blue, kind of splayed out over the jersey. I don't really know what it is. Kind of looks like lightning, or I don't know.
I thought it looked like the ground breaking up for like an earthquake slash lava thing happening.
Hmm. I saw
Interesting.
like y'all know marble tile or
Okay.
counter. I
Yeah,
saw that, but like very colorful.
I see
I don't
that.
know if it
I kinda
speaks
see
to
that.
how great the kid is that there are three very different takes on what it is, or if it's bad.
I'm sure
This
they
is like
have an
the
explanation
city boys
somewhere.
looking at clouds right now. No, I gotta be honest, especially because last week I was a little bit of a hater. This jersey is very good, very
Yeah,
good. This is season 3 of the St. Louis City Boys and season 3 of being a High on White Kit
yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
What a banger. Okay.
yeah.
There's one point about this kit that I think could be uh could take away from it, that it kind of looks like FC Cincinnati colors to me a little bit, but it's not exactly. So this kid is so good. The shorts also pair so good with it. I'm a big enjoyer of this kid, so I'm gonna go
Big
for
enjoyer.
a 9.2 for the big enjoyer of San Diego FC's kit.
Oh.
I'm gonna give this kit an 8.5. It's pretty good. I like it. It's not like it doesn't make anything. It's not super special. It's cool though.
Hmm.
Looks good.
Well, to try to bring the Graces right back up to where they just were before Grayson's pessimistic view of this kid, I'm a high on white kid guy as well. This kid is very good, very pretty. I love this kid. This is going to be the closest to a 10 I might give out all season. This is a
Whoa.
9.8 kid for me. I want
Whoa.
one. I want one badly.
This game was that bad. It made you a San Diego fan. What the hell is going on? What is going on here?
Yeah, I'm
Dude.
jumping ship, fellas. It's going to be the city duo from here on out. I'm going to go join a San Diego podcast. Thank you
Ugh,
for having me these
if
last
they
two
even have
seasons,
any.
boys.
Oh, all right. Well, that's a surprisingly high rating. I'm not that surprised. But that's Kick Clash for you. So let's go ahead and move on into our preview. I know Ethan's got a lot to talk about with the Seattle Sounders coming up this weekend.
Right, because this is his second favorite
Right,
team.
right,
Oh,
right.
yes.
Oh,
Maybe in
yes.
another life, my first favorite team when I was new to soccer, because I got a family from the Pacific Northwest who I'm so excited. I'm bringing everyone out to watch the Seattle game. The whole family's coming out to see Seattle play at City Park. It's going to be electric. So
What colors are they going to be wearing?
Oh, definitely St. Louis colors.
Okay,
They will
City
not
Red.
be allowed in the park without
okay.
St. Louis colors on their body
I
from
mean,
me.
we're all sitting near the supporters section. We'll get yelled at.
It'll be close. So let me tell you a little bit about Seattle, because they're coming into St. Louis look on back-to-back road games after suffering a 2-1 defeat to RSL in Salt Lake. And it was a very good game that they had. Rafael Cabral played fantastically for RSL. However, oh my gosh, so many R's. The 3 R's of Seattle are who I am looking out for in this game. That is going to be Rusnak, Rothrock, and Roldan. I also see Hassani Dotson playing a big role in this game. He is a very quality player. Our midfields are going to match up fantastically in this game. I think whoever wins that battle will win the game. But if I got to be honest, after I watched their game against RSL, or the recap of their game against RSL, I saw vulnerabilities right after they turned the ball over, which I think really favors St. Louis City. We want to be lightning quick in transition, so I could see that really benefiting us. And they are not the greatest at man marking late runs. So, boys, I could see someone like Chris Durkin really thriving in this game. I know it. I know it. So that's going to be my call out for this game. Grayson, you can tell us more about St. Louis City or Seattle before I go into my predictions, but that's a quick little tease
Quick
for what I
little,
got coming up.
quick little tidbit. Yeah, I think the main takeaway for me from Seattle thus far, they did bring in some new faces. Hassani Dotson from Minnesota, but for me, it's the old faces that scare me a little bit. But one that we will not be seeing is Jordan Morris, who got injured pretty early on into Seattle's first match. He went down with a hamstring injury. It's just a strain, so he will be back this season, but he is missing some early season matches, probably 3 or 4 weeks. So we won't be seeing him, and he did score against us last time we faced Seattle. So nice. Stefan Fry is the other name that will be missing from this lineup, as Seattle's starting to phase him out and maybe trust some new hands in that for them. And to mixed reviews. He had a decent game first match day, and then they lost 2-1 to RSL. But yeah, RSL. I think the main point from the RSL game is that for me, Seattle lost, but they were definitely there. RSL's keeper, Cabral, as Ethan said, had a really good performance with 6 saves. So,
They were there for sure.
They were there. Seattle generated a lot of chances.
They were involved.
They showed up.
Seattle was definitely in Salt Lake, that's for sure.
Whatever, you know what I mean. Get off my back. They lost, but they had a good game. So I think I'm still a little worried, but Seattle, they're still looking for who is their out-and-out striker. They've been playing Di Rosario the past 2 matches, surprisingly having Jesus Ferreira out on the wing. So it'll be interesting to see who they stick up top, if they're going to keep trying Di Rosario or maybe swing some stuff around. But Seattle's a good squad. I'm a little worried, but not too worried. Very familiar. Jacob, you got anything on him?
Yeah, I'm actually going to take this opportunity to go first in a prediction. I think City's going to win this one 2-1 at home, and my goal scorer prediction is going to be Cedric Toyshirt. I think with his last 2 appearances looking very dangerous in and around the box, 3rd time's the charm for him to say either give me a new contract or let me go in the summertime. He's going to start that train right now, March 7th in St. Louis, or is it the 8th? I don't know, one of those 2 days.
Something
But
like
he's
that.
going to start that party this weekend with a goal. Maybe coming off the bench. I would not be surprised to see him start, though, and maybe get 45 to 60 minutes.
Okay.
I think so, Jacob. They mentioned in the post-game presser that Seti Toyshirt, like I said, is working his way back to full fitness. Last season, he was injured for so much that they just don't want to rush it this year. So he's itching to get back to playing. But I think Damet said they are holding him back a little bit. So he went out about 6 minutes in the first game. I think he played around 20-something in this second game. Maybe we do see him for 45 in match day 2. But someone that I think we're going to see for 90 minutes in match day 2 is my goal scorer, Mr. Chris Durkin, for this game. I think that he has actually shown a really good ability to get into attacking chances and create for some other people. And I think that, like I said, that Seattle has vulnerabilities with their late man marking. I think a late run into the box is going to favor him, and Celio Pompey will be on the end of his first assist of the season. I'm going to give St. Louis City a victory at home as well, Jacob, our first of the season. Give me 3-1. Unfortunately, no clean sheet, but I got us winning at Energizer Park for sure.
Interesting. 3-1. That'd be fun. I'm going to say, frick. I'm going to say that
Lightning.
we draw this game.
Seattle's definitely going to be in St. Louis this game.
Will Seattle
be
be
there.
there, Grayson?
Hopefully
Seattle's
not.
gonna be there.
Hopefully not. It'll be 1-1 draw. We pick up another point. We move above Kansas City because they're going to lose next week by 1 point. How exciting. Goal scorer is going to be Simon Betcher. Patience is slowly growing thin. But as I said, I want to see him for at least 3 to 4 games before Cordova, really starts to get his chances.
You did say that.
I'm going to stick by it. So Simon Betcher, please prove me right.
I just like our odds
Nice.
at City Park. That's my main thing. I think that
I
even
agree.
though Seattle did look all right against RSO, I think back-to-back road games is difficult for any squad, especially coming off the back of a loss. So I think this favors City.
I think so too. I agree. We look a whole different team at home. So hopefully that momentum pushes us past the line and across the goal line too, because we need some goals in this game. Hopefully 3. I like the 3-goal shout. I love that.
That would be really great.
We got any grab bags to finish
Oh
up
yeah,
this
we got
episode?
some grab bag. Give me this one. I'm grabbing.
yeah,
out of
you
the
got
bag
it. I'll
first
toss it up to
because
you.
Grayson and Jacob, I think we are due some "I told you so's" to some people that probably don't listen to this podcast. To be fair, if you are a City Boys listener, I don't think you need to hear this, but I'm gonna say it anyways. We told you so. Joao Klaus is a very good striker. Very good. I have had enough. Team of the match day in match day 2. 3 goals to his name so far this season. Of course, the LA Galaxy has different personnel around him, but it is nice to see him thriving and vindicating in a very real way.
Nice is I wouldn't use that word.
Bittersweet. Give me
I
that
don't know
one.
if bittersweet is the word either. It feels bad. It feels bad that he is not scoring goals for us. He's scoring goals for someone else. That doesn't make me happy for me. I love him, but I ain't happy about it. Just saying.
I can tell you in the 2 clear-cut chances that Simon Betcher has had this season, I think Klaus slots both of those home.
It's
Maybe.
hard to argue that, Jacob, because the goals that Joao Klaus have scored have been in pretty similar positions. So
Not wrong.
And that's honestly, that's not the hard done at Simon Betcher. He was under Joao Klaus's wing for a reason. The last season and some change after we got him on loan. So it's not anything to Simon Betcher's disgrace. Joao Klaus just is a better striker.
I mean, this is not new information to the City Boys podcast, but so if you know someone out there that was dissing Joao Klaus, go ahead and send them to us. Send them to the last bit of this episode, and we will tell them I told you so for you. But that is my grab bag for this episode, Grayson. Anybody got anything else?
I don't got any this week. I'm all out. My bag's empty.
My bag's also empty because I just got back from vacation, so I'm ready to call this an episode. If you boys are ready to call this one,
Take us out then, good sir.
my family, my friends, my fellow podcast watchers for St. Louis City, thank you guys for sticking around until the end. If you have, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. We really do appreciate it, as well as following, 5-starring, and commenting on the Spotify page, and go to all of our socials. They're listed in the description. They might even be coming across the screen right now. Make sure you drop a follow on those. We are way, way, way too close to 600 followers on Instagram. So if you haven't thus far, go ahead and do so. But most importantly, folks, if you don't do any of that, make sure you tell your mother you love her. Peace. STL. 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 St. Louis.
St. Louis City Boys, what it do? From the arch to the booth, we talk about you. streets, we true. St. Louis, city boys in the loop.
Red smoke in the sky,
Game day in our eye.
every play, every fight.
We gon' break it down right. City boys in the loop. City boys in the loop. City boys. Turn it up, run it back, that's the crew. That's the crew. From the stands to the streets, we true. St.